Good morning, and welcome to this presentation of Nykode's full year 2016 financial results. I am Michele Garuffi, CEO of Nykode, and I'm joined by Sandrine Gesten, our Senior Director of Finance. A PDF version of the presentation is available on our website. I will start today's presentation with a summary of 2016 and early 2017 achievements and highlights, followed by an overview of our pipeline and key assets. Sandrine will then present the key highlights of our financial results for 2016, and I will provide some summary remarks. Beginning to slide number 3, 2016 was a year of significant activity on all fronts, and here we highlight the key elements of the business. Up first, the new drug application for ophthalmic solution of latanoprost and Bunod, partnered with Bausch + Lomb, a subsidiary of Valeant, was recently resubmitted to the U.S. FDA, and the PDUFA date of August 24 for this year was assigned. The provisionally approved name for this product is Vyzulta. Subject to regulatory approval by the FDA, Valeant is currently projecting a Vyzulta product launch in the United States during the second half of this year. Next, we resubmitted the U.S. NDA for Zerviate, our novel proprietary cetirizine eye drop formulation, on March 8 of this year. Zerviate is a provisionally approved name for AC-170, the previous code for Zerviate. The FDA has 30 days to acknowledge receipt of the submission, communicate the classification, and provide the due date for action. If deemed a Class 2 resubmission, the review period would be 6 months, which will put the PDUFA goal date on September 8. We have also advanced the development of several of our earlier ophthalmic programs in blepharitis and glaucoma, and now expect to have 2 candidate molecules in phase 2 development within the next 12 months. For NCX-4251, an ophthalmic suspension of fluticasone propionate nanocrystal, we recently completed a pre-IND meeting with the FDA and are finalizing the preclinical studies necessary for the IND filing. Subject to a timely IND filing and acceptance, we plan to initiate a phase 2 clinical trial of 4251 in blepharitis during the fourth quarter of this year, and the trial will take approximately 1 year to complete. For NCX-470, an ophthalmic solution of the ano-donating bimatoprost analog, we also recently had a successful pre-IND meeting with FDA, and we are finalizing the study package necessary for the IND filing. Subject always to IND filing and acceptance, we plan to initiate a phase 2 clinical trial in patients with elevated IOP during the first quarter of 2018, and this trial will also take approximately 1 year to complete. Next, on the financial front, we strengthened our balance sheet last year through a successful financing, which resulted in gross proceeds of approximately 18 million euro. With this additional funding, we are well positioned to continue advancing our valuable pipeline assets. Lastly, on the corporate front, we successfully achieved 2 key objectives during 2016. We transferred our European commercial operation to Visu Pharma, BV, a new pan-European ophthalmic specialty pharmaceutical company led by the private equity group GHO Capital. In exchange for our revenue-generating business, we are eligible to receive up to 23 million euro in a combination of cash and minority holding in Visu Pharma and certain contingent payments. We out-licensed an exclusive worldwide rights to AC-120, an OTC candidate targeting morning eyelid swelling, to Aura Inc. in U.S., a leading research and development ophthalmology organization. Aura will be responsible for a development and the commercialization of AC-120, with milestone and a certain share of revenue due to Nykode. Moving to slide 4, we show our current ophthalmology pipeline. Alongside the 2 partner programs, Vyzulta and AC-120, our core worldwide portfolio has 4 development programs, all of which are unencumbered. And now turning to slide 5 for a deeper dive on latanoprost Bunod or Vyzulta. If approved, Vyzulta will be the first and only once-daily single IOP-lowering drug to provide consistent and sustained efficacy through 2 distinct modes of action, and the first prostaglandin analog to use anodonation in IOP reduction. As I mentioned earlier, a PDUFA date has been set by the U.S. FDA for August 24 of this year, and Bausch & Lomb is projecting a product launch in the U.S. during the second half of this year. We are extremely proud to say that Vyzulta was invented, synthesized, and screened in Nycos Research Laboratory in Milano in Italy. In phase 3 clinical studies, Vyzulta demonstrated a reduction of IOP from baseline of 7.5 to 9.1 millimeter of mercury from baseline, and was statistically superior to timolol beginning in week 2 and extending through week 12 for both phase 3 trials. Moving on to slide number 6. In the U.S., the glaucoma market currently generates $2.3 billion in annual sales, with 33 million prescriptions written for glaucoma drugs each year. For Vyzulta, Nycos is eligible to receive up to $132 million in future milestone payments, along with between 6 and 11% in future net royalties. Turning now to slide 7. For some more detail on Derviate, our wholly owned topical ocular formulation of cetirizine for the treatment of ocular itching associated with allergic conjunctivitis. As a reminder, cetirizine, the active ingredient in Zyrtec, is a widely used antihistamine with a well-characterized efficacy and safety profile. In 2 phase 3 studies, Derviate demonstrated statistically significant improvement in ocular itching compared to a vehicle control, the classical clinical model for FDA approval. The market opportunity for Derviate is substantial. An estimated 74 million adults in the U.S. suffer from allergic conjunctivitis. If approved, Derviate would be entering the growing U.S. ocular anti-allergy market of more than $800 million annually. As I mentioned earlier, the U.S. NDA for Derviate was resubmitted to the FDA on March 8 of this year, once we knew that the API manufacturer plant was cleared by FDA, and we are currently waiting for an acknowledgement and an assigned PDUFA date for this compound. As we await FDA action on both Vyzulta and Derviate, slide 8 identifies the next commercial opportunities in Nycos' pipeline. 4251 is a novel formulation of fluticasone propionate nanocrystal that will enable topical application for the treatment of acute blepharitis. The active ingredient fluticasone is a well-known corticosteroid and has been widely used in marketed products such as Flonase. Blepharitis is one of the most common ocular conditions encountered in clinical practice and is characterized by the edges of the eyelids becoming red and swollen, either on the outside front of the eyelids where the eyelashes are attached, or on the inner eyelids where the lid makes contact with the eye. There are currently no FDA-approved products to treat blepharitis, and our market research has revealed that ophthalmologists consider anti-inflammatory activity to be the most important product attribute when selecting the treatment for blepharitis. We believe that blepharitis market is significant and look forward to initiating our phase 2 clinical trial with 4251 during the 4th quarter of this year. And finally, we are also developing NCX470, our lead nitric oxide donating candidate for the lowering of intraocular pressure, a key factor in treating glaucoma. 470 is a novel bimatoprost analog that was developed using a similar anodonating platform to Vyzulta. The 470 development program is supported by promising preclinical data across several preclinical models of glaucoma and ocular hypertension, which showed an efficacy potentially superior to any other single compound developed so far in this indication. We are currently finalizing the study design for a first-in-human trial and completing various pre-IND activities, and we look forward to initiating a phase 2 clinical trial with this candidate during the 1st quarter of next year. I would now like to hand over to Sandrine, our Senior Director of Finance, to present an overview of the key financial highlights for 2016. Please, Sandrine.
Thank you, Michele. Looking at slide 9, you can see that we are expecting in 2017 a significant decrease of our fixed costs following the divestment of our European and international business operations. We had cash equivalents and financial instruments of 28.9 million euros as of December 2016, compared to 29.7 million as of December 2015. The slide number 10 shows a condensed version of the profit and loss accounts. A more detailed version is available in our press release issued this morning. As you can see, the current operating loss amounts to 20.5 million in 2016 compared to 16.5 million in 2015. The increase in the current operating loss is mainly explained by costs related to the submission of Zerviate in the United States and the further preclinical development costs of NCX 417 and NCX 4251. The slide 11 shows a condensed version of the balance sheet. As with the P&L, you can find a more detailed version into the press release. Michele, would like to continue the presentation?
Yes, thank you, Sandrine. Just the last slide. In closing, let me wrap up by summarizing our upcoming milestone and our priorities for this year. The key events on the horizon for Nykox are the PDUFA date and approval decision for Vyzulta of Bausch + Lomb on August 24, followed by the anticipated product launch in the U.S. by Bausch + Lomb itself during the second half of this year. And the second key event is the announcement of an assigned PDUFA date for Zerviate very soon. In beginning of April, we should receive the information by April 8, and an approval decision during the third quarter. Together, we have the potential for 2 U.S. product approval by year-end of 2017. For our other pipeline assets, we are poised to have 2 phase 2 assets enter proof-of-concept clinical trial over the next 12 months, namely the initiation of a phase 2 clinical trial for 4251 during the fourth quarter of this year, and the advancement of the pre-IND activities for 470 with the goal of initiating a phase 2 clinical study during the first quarter of next year. We believe 2017 will be a transformational year for the company, and we are well positioned to continue to grow as a major research and development player in the ophthalmic space. With that, I would like to thank you all for listening today, and we look forward to keeping you updated on our progress in the coming months. Bye-bye. Au revoir. Arrivederci.